We shouldn't read too much into the Virginia election victory for the Republicans. Maybe it's a turning of the tide. Maybe it's an aberration. Time will tell. But right now we don't know. And it's not massively significant, no matter how much it's been trumpeted by both sides. But it is instructive, particularly the response from the left. It's amazing how people who have been playing the race card on every event, continually, for years, immediately start accusing the opposition of playing the race card when it blows up in their faces. And they responded the way the left has done for years on both sides of the Atlantic. When losing an election, they immediately blame the voters for being racist, because that's going to persuade them to vote for you next time. I'm not really sure why the left always blame the electorate instead of ever accepting any responsibility for their own failures. But this refusal to accept blame, to admit to any faults, is incredibly widespread. And we saw this in the shockingly dishonest reaction to that election on MSNBC. They claimed that the right monopolised media, when the far greater bulk of the media leans left. They claim that critical race theory doesn't exist and isn't being pushed in schools, when it does, and it is. They claim the electorate were racist when they voted in a black woman in preference to a white man, and that they claim their own coverage is honest and objective, when it's shockingly biased and willfully mendacious. Yet, I get the impression that they're not faking. They're not trying to hide their dishonesty and brazen tribalism. They're genuinely oblivious to it. They simply can't see what's abundantly clear to everyone else. They just can't comprehend the gulf between their self-image and reality, between how they see themselves and how everyone else sees them. They're so certain in their opinions that they just can't regard them as opinions. They confuse their narrow and tribal worldview with objective reality, and are baffled when anyone else rejects that reality, when people can see through the blinkers they have willfully adopted. And CNN is guilty of the same close-minded myopia. When Barry Weiss gently critiqued that channel's practices to Brian Stelter, he was genuinely bemused. After all, his programme is called Reliable Sources. So he was utterly perplexed that CNN could ever be seen as less than perfect in any way. But even the most cursory appraisal shows how that channel lies all the time. They lied about the horrific violence in the riots that devastated 2020. They lied that the Covington High School kids threatened an American Indian. Lies that led to a bunch of schoolboys getting tens of thousands of death threats. They lied for 4 years about an election stolen through Russian collusion, and then laughed at the credulity of Trump voters who claimed an stolen election. They lied about Joe Rogan taking horse dewormer, and then kept digging by lying about it again and again. They lied endlessly about Donald Trump and everyone who had voted for him. They lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. They lied about the COVID lab leak. And they'll continue to lie about anything that supports their narrative. But they'll never learn. And they'll never change. Like the BBC and Britain's Labour Party, they'll refuse to accept any fault. They'll ignore the criticism that come their way. And they'll keep blaming their own errors on the stupid, racist voters. That'll show 'em. And their denials and lies will continue as the viewers and the electorate desert them in droves. It's a pattern that's as predictable as sunrise. If you'd like to support this channel, please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in these topics, I've written 2 books which go into them in extensive detail. They're called The Tyranny of the Left, and they're available on the links below. Please do pick them up and let me know what you think. Thank you.